Welcome everyone to today's global debate on the topic that intersects both technology and education. So the debate statement for today is AI in education is just overhyped tech that won't deliver real change. Uh, to debate this statement, I have with me three amazing speakers out here and debaters. We have Angelika, Elsa, and Sam. Uh, Before I introduce them to you, I would just like to have a disclaimer. Uh, so, as you experience this debate, there are three things that uh, we need to make it very clear. One is that uh, in global debates, we don't use topics, issues, motion very simply because uh, you cannot debate these things. You can debate a contentious statement by someone or a contentious issue at hand. So that is the reason why we have these debate statements, and these statements are not official positions of the Global Citizenship Foundation. So making that very clear and moving further, the positions that the individuals would be taking today are not their personal positions. We have uh, put them into this spot by way of the format that is there. So people who might otherwise not agree with the statements have this space to defend those statements. So I hope we take this with grace. This is a very interesting and intellectual exercise. And I think we are one of the very few conferences to be able to have this kind of format of engaging with experts. So first and foremost, I want to congratulate all our speakers today, all the guests out here who have been so courageous to accept this invitation to debate something that they passionately would otherwise support or not support, right? So depending on which side they're on. So having said that, let me formally introduce you to Angelika. Angelika Nocoń is nonprofit relations manager at Tech to the Rescue, which is a global platform connecting nonprofit organizations seeking tech solutions with companies ready to build them on a pro bono or low bono level. So Angelika is responsible for coordinating, onboarding and supporting tech organizations. So you know that she's very much involved in tech as a process. So she is responsible also for scouting and finding AI for Changemakers program folks, which is a 3-year long global accelerator for nonprofits and AI innovators. So this is very close to her, as you can see, and she would be speaking against the. I'm sorry, she would be speaking for the statement. AI in education is just overhyped tech that won't deliver real change. So this is a sharp turn from there. Then we also have with us Sui, Sam Chui, who is a passionate technology educator and a communication leader. He teaches AI for beginners to multi-ethnic minorities of all age groups in Hong Kong branch of the International Social Service, and is currently leading the business development for HelloTalk, which is the world's largest social network and comprehensive app for language learning. So having introduced our what do you call debaters out here, I'm very much excited and looking forward to this debate. So just to set the rules clear, we have 5 rounds of debate, and each what do you call debater gets about 2 minutes to present their case per round. So exactly at 2 minutes, you would be informed uh, that your time is up. So we're very strict with the time. So please welcome our debaters for today. So we have Angelika opening the floor. So just to confirm again, Angelika is for the statement, Elsa is against the statement, and Sam is for the statement.
Perfect. Aaryan, do I understand well that I can have just the first one of these 2 minutes of kind of introduction, how I align with this thesis?
Yes, you're defending the statement.
Okay. I thought there would be a question. No worries. Well, so as you can imagine, I am very comfortable with saying that AI will not deliver real change and it's just overhyped tech. But what I think we need to take into consideration when speaking about real change is, I would say there are these three main elements that I see every day when I'm matching nonprofits, change makers that want to invest in technology with tech companies that are building the solutions. We must think about these three elements that will actually make the success or the failure of such technologies, tech or AI solutions, which is cost, which is absorption, and which is maintenance. And just to tell you a bit more about that, what I mean with these three elements, that the cost should be moderately low, that the absorption should be high, and the maintenance should be feasible. So if we look at the AI solutions, the cost, when we are asking about tech companies who are working on solutions on a pro bono level, we always ask them about the market value. And I see these AI solutions, they are still quite expensive. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars that we have there in order to create some tailor-made solution and any other AI solution. They are very costly. When it comes to absorption, to use the AI tool, so it's not just a gadget that is brought to education sector from top to bottom. We need to make it, that it's available, that the absorption is quite high, that the entry level is not very complicated. So we can actually make sure that the students are using it, the teachers know how to use it, the management knows how to use it. How to do that? We need to train them. We need to spend this time. We need to add additional resources to actually invest in the training, in additional staff. There are a lot of things that must happen so that absorption is quite high. Then we also need to speak about maintenance. I always see this is a big challenge for organizations that we are supporting. We need to think that it will still require data storage, that there will be still some bugs, some features that need to be developed when it comes, to the future. Do the schools have the educators, the resources, even the financial ones? It's great to have the solution. It's great to even get the grant to have it implemented, but we need to think about the future and maintenance. I saw the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Elsa, how would you respond? Elsa,
I'm a teacher. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm a teacher, so I'm all in for it. So if we look back at 2020, when coronavirus hit us and we had to be online teaching students that had no clue, since then we have evolved. On my screen, I have a few AI programs: ThinkMaster, Jill Watson, Brainly, Nuance, Cockney, KidSense, Contact Technologies. These are programs that students are using in classrooms. We have IXL, which is amazing. It's not only AI, but it's also a platform that generate analytics for the teacher and the student and the parents. We look at Century, LMS, the systems that we are working with every day. So we see that these things are actually working. We see that the students are learning from it. What we do need to do is we need to impact the parents. The parents need to understand how it works, because our children already knows, but our parents don't. And when we look at AI in the future, when we generate questions and we ask these elaborate questions, because our education system have changed, we are now looking at data outside the box of just narrow scope education. And when we do that, we have to allow the child to look into these different platforms. Although there's little things that needs to be changed, although there is people who might think, yeah, it's not safe and this and that and the other thing, the child's future is going to be on a computer. The child's future job is going to be on a computer. And if we do not embrace this, if we do not teach this to the child, we're going to put the child at the back feet. In our schools in Vietnam, I am at the Vietnam Australian International School. And since this year, we are using full AI in the higher grades. We are fully computerized. So in my classes, we use computers every single period. I would ask them, find me this. Tell me if this is true. How are you going to do this? What color is this? So we use this platforms, we use this basis to enhance education. That does not take away from the traditional education. It is to enhance the education system. If we use it right, if we teach our teachers, and if there's a willingness from education systems, then we will win the race to the space
Thank you.
age. Am I done?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Elsa. Well,
Thank you.
I'd like to propose a counter argument. I think the fact that schools, in your case, a school you cited with all the various different technologies, I think it is creating a distraction for the child. It is diverting their focus away from what's really important in education, and that is to learn about emotional intelligence, to be able to build relationships between the teacher and the student, and between students and other students, to develop creativity, and also to develop skills for the future. Now, AI is a technical skill for the future, but that's a very small subset of all the skills that we want our children and our students to learn, be it emotional skills, the ability to persevere, the ability to deal with all kinds of situations. AI sometimes make it too easy for the students, and it actually lowers their level of patience, it lowers the level of perseverance in the real world. And this is an issue going on today, right? So this is a key theme. Human and emotional factors, this is what we should be teaching in school. This should be our focus. Technology is important, but not as important as all these other human and emotional factors. In fact, I would argue that it's probably more important to learn technology in university or beyond, but definitely not between K to 12.
All right.
Thank you.
So, Sam, thank you. So we've concluded the first round. So we get on to the second one. So we have Angelika back on the stage.
Thank you so much. Okay, then I will take different direction. And of course, I must speak about data because AI solutions are data-driven. And we talk about data, we need to talk about data security. That is the biggest concern out there, both for the organizations that I see they are wanting some technological solutions, and tech companies that are building them for them. So it's data security, but on the other side, data quality. So when it comes to data security, of course, it must, like, the digital privacy, especially for students, is crucial. So do the schools have, again, the resources to hire additional staff, to do cybersecurity checkups, to invest in developers that can sometimes fix some bugs because they will be appearing? So this is the question here, again, about the resources. And I wonder if in budgeting of schools, of educational centers, if this is really the priority, or if they have additional money, they could spend it on something else. So in order for this AI solution to make a change, there must be this money for that. Question is if there is. The second part of this, the quality of data. The AI models are as good as the data that we fed them with, so to say, in this human language. And majority of these models that are now more universal, because I cannot assume that every school can have tailor-made solution, right? They are trained on westernized data. The majority of big tech is in global north. And it's repeating again the biases. I don't have to even bring so many examples here, because we are all hearing about AI solutions not depicting the minorities of the world. And we are just repeating the stereotypes that are already there. So we had this colonialism, then post-colonialism, neo-colonialism, and now we have what? The tech colonialism. I wish each school, each education center could really build tailor-made solution, could come to tech to the rescue and really work on data that is provided. but it would be ideal world. Like we do hope for for scenario like this in the future, but for these universal tools that are used by the majority, unfortunately, that's not the scenario, not yet. So when it comes to data, both the security and quality, this is a big question mark here for the solutions to make this real change for everyone, not only for the privileged majority. Ideal. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelika, for staying on time. So we have Elsa.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Elsa, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now? I'm here. Am I for or against? Aaryan? Can you hear me? Oh dear. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
You're against.
okay.
If you can hear
So,
me, against. In all rounds.
okay. I have a problem with AI. I'm so glad I can say that. In education, we are basically working with people who is cognitively not developed yet. And they are only cognitively developed after 24 years old. And so coming to Sam's situation where set only for the older students, the older people in universities, I think that is too late. What I do believe is that if we look at AI and all other programming, we have to look at the ethics of that. Ethics have to be governed by the government of that country. Cybersecurity is paramount. And because, as Angelika said, we are working with data, we have to protect the data. This is a child's data. So it doesn't matter what this child become one day, this is his data. This is personal and we have to protect that. The other thing that I have a real big problem with is if I look at research, and I have done some research about this, our research show that the cognitive decline with prolonged screen time brings in this in the brain this this fight argumentative scenarios to the forefront, where the child is unable to communicate, to understand what the community that the community have certain rules and certain aspects in which he is part, because he is solely focused on screen time. This makes them angry. This makes them separated from other people. They cannot function in group formats. They cannot work together in the school format. And unfortunately, this is coming from major companies that sells these AI programming with a preset bias. And if we are not careful with this bias, we are at the end of the day going to indoctrinate the child, because we take away free thinking skills. There is AI programs, I agree with that, that can help you, especially the child who have learning difficulties. But in the major component, if we do not have government's backing into making sure that what we are presenting the child with in the classroom is safe on the long term, and not ChatGPT that gives them the answers, because it makes them not think anymore. They do not have three-dimensional thinking, and we have the most amazing brains. So I'm against it.
So you believe that AI in education you're against the statement AI in education is overhyped tech that won't solve problems, right? That won't deliver real change. Is that what you're against?
Yes. But I cannot say that there's no place for it. But in the global market, yes. For now, we are not ready. We
All
are
right.
not ready for it.
Thank you, Elsa. Sam,
So,
how would you
okay. So
counter
in other words,
Elsa?
I'm not sure that's a counter. I believe she's agreeing with us, meaning
Oh,
that, AI is overhyped technology. I think we all touched upon four main themes so far, or three main themes so far, right? The human and emotional factor, the impact on the high costs and technical implementation in schools, and then more lately about the ethical and privacy concerns, right? So data privacy, bias in AI. So these are all big red flags that we are scared is going to just create havoc with our children. I think I'd like to pivot into a fourth theme, which is the educational quality of the teaching. So AI as a tool, at least what we're seeing right now, is simply regurgitating uh, existing answers from Elsa, right? It's still not quite a thinking tool. It's still not quite the equivalent of a human brain yet. So right now, I believe it's just a quick and simple way to get an answer. I would compare it to a calculator, right? When calculators were invented and rolled out in schools, all the teachers were saying, "Oh, all the kids are not going to know how to do math anymore because of the calculator." And what we're seeing here is perhaps similar with AI, where kids are not going to learn how to think and be critical and check on the data sources for themselves if they believe every single thing that AI spews out. So I think this is problematic, right? This is why I believe AI is overhyped because it is just a one-way sort of learning style in most cases. It is not adaptable to each individual child's needs. It is very standardized, right? It's not personalized. There is still a lot of cultural insensitivity because it is all that data is coming from the global north, as Angelika mentioned. So I think, yeah, there's a lot of overhype right now, and the long-term impact is much more negative than positive when it comes to learning styles and the impact on how children learn with AI.
thank you so much for holding your fort, all of you. So we are moving to the third round, and then we have two more rounds. So um, there we go. So Angelika,
Thank you. Maybe I would just continue. I really liked some story about the calculators and these conclusions of the for the optimization and standardization. These are all the dangers. But I was also thinking when preparing for this panel, how we can also curate in right way these tools. Today I participated in one of the sessions with Dr. Charles, I believe, from the morning, and he was giving examples of AI solutions that are used really broadly by the students, and teachers don't even know about that. And the students are so much far ahead of us, of educators, and they are, the absorption skills are so much higher actually, that how we can even curate how they are using these tools. So the question here is even, of course, about the change. It is probably creating this big change, but also about the quality of this change, like how we can control that it will not be in this effective, standardized, optimized way, just shrinking the brains of students, so to say. But really, we cannot control it, we cannot curate it. We are far behind young generations. So what will be the quality of this change, even if AI makes this big change? I can stop here.
that was a strong take, Angelika. Elsa,
Elsa, you are muted.
We have been using AI in some way of shape or form for a very long time. We might just not know it as AI because we suddenly got ChatGPT and everybody thought, oh, that's AI. No, that's not the only AI we're working with. Your GPS is AI. Your wristwatch, smartwatch is AI. We have been using AI in medical centers. We've been using AI in our private life. Alexa is AI. And so when we look at AI, we have to understand that there's programs that is AI in our daily lives, and it's been there for almost 10 years now. But we didn't realize that until we were forced to face that since the pandemic that hit the entire world. And everything was shut down, and our children needed to be educated. That's when we realized, oh, we're going to use this thing called AI. It's just a hype word. But we have, in education, we use micro lessons. This is an AI program, and this is for diagnostic data for the child. We use this in promotions. We use this to see if the child is hitting their benchmarks. Where must we help before we get to the end of the year? We're using some of this interactive videos. We use interactive slides. We use flipped classrooms. We use asynchronous learning like AXL. These are all programs that have the basis of AI, and it really helped. It really helped, especially because I'm teaching second language students. It helped them in understanding. In our school, we have a program, an AI program, that helps them with speech. It helps them with pronunciation, because they are not English speakers, but they will go to an English university. And so there is definitely place for AI in our daily lives. We have to understand that the AI that is in our daily lives is there to stay. How are we going to navigate it? That is the question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a question, Elsa. Sam.
Thank you, Elsa. Well, I think your main theme is really your embrace of AI as a teacher. Now, I would argue that you may be actually unique and exceptional in that sense, but the majority of teachers in this world are actually scared of AI. There's a lot of teacher resistance to implementing and rolling AI in schools. They fear for their jobs. They fear for how their role as a teacher will be impacted by AI. So I believe this teacher is not a loud overt protest, but I believe there's subtle forms of protest where teachers are simply not embracing AI as they should be, and this speaking this to the majority of the world, and in many cases, many of the schools and universities that I work with. I think they're depending on the teacher, they may have been teaching for a very long time, so they're highly resistant to change and to technology implementation. So I think this is one really important key point. And the second key point is also there is a digital divide between schools. I think Angelika mentioned the schools in the suburbs or rural areas versus schools in the cities. So that change and impact AI in education won't be as wide and as impactful as we'd like it to be, simply because of the inequality in resources and funding allocation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now we are towards the last round, if I'm not wrong. I think I'm quite absorbed in the dialogue that you folks are having, the debate that you're having. So this would be the concluding round where you wrap up your statements and you defend your statement, or your side, not the statement, but you defend the side that you're on and conclude it. And then I have a few questions for all of you. So there you go.
I guess I start. That will be so hard in these 2 minutes. I have so many thoughts after this few rounds. And of course, personally, my statement, so that's double hard, but let's stick to it, right? AI will not deliver real change. And what I see, I will refer again to what I'm doing Tech to the Rescue. I see daily organizations that are coming with tech solutions. What is the journey that must happen for tech solution to actually bring the change? I see it not only with AI, but let's say in any other software-based solution. Yeah, we talk about tech. It must start with a good idea, with a lot of data sets when it comes to AI. So it must start with these humans, the teachers, educators, management that must already involve a lot, their time, their expertise. That's also, of course, really good scenario for creating solution, but let's stick to that. Then there must be money. Like not everyone is able to connect with Tech to the Rescue. Not everyone can have a grant. Maybe there are these scenarios, but it's still a lot of money on the table. So this is the second step. Already, it's already not available for majority of the world. Then let's say you have the money, you have the great concept. What you need great tech company, you need the partner, you need to create the solution that is really adjusted to your needs, to needs of your school, of class, and so on and so on. And development is not that easy. It's developing, testing, designing, testing, developing. It can take months. And AI is developing itself so fast that it's really sometimes hard to catch up. So this is the third stage that each change maker has to go through. Then you have the implementation. So let's say, okay, it happened, development phase is behind us, it's tested, but how are you gonna encourage people to use it? How are you gonna convince parents that it's safe? How are you gonna train your teachers? Do you have this time? Do you have the resources? It's another stage that it really requires a lot of resources from the education side, from the school side, so to say, in this respective field. And then you need to sustain it. As I was saying, I think in the first round, it's again about the money. It's again about the experts. It's about not creating just gadgets that stop working after a few weeks, but that can be maintained. So there is a long road. There's a challenging journey, and that's why this change of AI in current times, I put here a question mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelika, for defending the side. Elsa.
In my final statement, I would like to just take a little history lesson. When we stopped using the feathers in ink and pencils were made, people were very upset because it is so wrong. Then we went from the pencil to an ink pen, and people were very upset because that was very wrong. And then we got computers and we could not stop it. Since 2010, we went into this phase of 21st century education. This is where we were already ready for this. I believe that if there's a willingness to understand how AI work, we can make a success of that. But with that comes a very big responsibility. If we are looking at the children in front of us, me as a teacher, I am working on their future. Their future is something that they do not understand yet. They might do jobs that does not exist right now. And we have to prepare them for that. It is scary, but the only way that we can take that scariness away is if we jump in and learn from it. There is places where we have to be careful, yes, but this is the child's future. And we as the adults, we as the learners have to make sure that they will be okay. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you, Elsa. Yeah, just to summarize, I think we mentioned the practical and technical challenges of implementing AI, which is unfeasible in most cases. We have ethical and privacy concerns with AI as well. There's a lot of data bias. So it is surely perhaps not teaching students, the right history sometimes. In fact, we know this for a fact that ChatGPT and some other AI tools have been spewing lies. And this is really important for us to understand that AI is not factually accurate. And this is a concern with AI in today's world. AI is also used for various evil ways, right? Some people use it to create programming, hackware, all of that. So there's a lot of negativity surrounding AI, as well as some good, for sure. In terms of learning styles, I think AI will limit the student from learning because right now there is only a few modes of learning through AI. It's repeating existing history. I don't think it's creative in a way that we like it to be. Last but not least, I think most important is the human relationship, right? Why is AI overhyped? Because it lacks that human touch, right? It lacks the ability to reach out to a student in a way um, that a human teacher can. For example, my son's teacher reached out to my son late at night because he's new at the school. And in class, he makes extra effort to cater to my son. So those are ways that AI is not there yet. And so it is very important for us humans to rely on ourselves to build relationship, deep relationship building. And hopefully that is the foundation and basis for which AI is built upon.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sam. Thank you, Elsa and Angelika. Now, I have a few questions for you, and these are critical questions around the statement. So, as you know, we are debating only on the statement, not on the merits of AI. So, the statement here, two parts. So, I'll ask, I mean, it's like a question each from both parts. One, uh, based on the stance that you have, uh, why do you think AI is just overhyped? In what ways do you think it is overhyped? So this is a question for Angelica and Sam. And to Elsa, why do you not agree with the statement that AI is just overhyped tech? If there was one strong reason why each of you think from your sides, right? So I think Sam has already made it clear from what he shared, but I would like to just dig a little deeper so we understand what exactly you mean by overhyped tech, right? So not getting into the merits of whether AI is good or not. So that's the first part of it. So in what ways do you think it's overhyped?
I will maybe give very simple sentence here. I think it's overhyped because of ChatGPT. Because all the world is about ChatGPT, everyone thinking about the AI is ChatGPT. It is so easy to access it. It's so easy to use it. It's, not everyone is thinking critically in every time, all the time. So I really think it's overhyped because ChatGPT is everywhere. Everyone is using it, and it's just one tool, this one technology that is everywhere. And exactly, it's hyped. It's in fashion, and yeah, everyone you are asking, if person is not saying I'm not using ChatGPT, it's like I'm not using Excel sheets, right? So I think it's because of ChatGPT.
Thank you, Angelica, Sam, and then we go
I
to
think
Elsa.
it's overhyped simply because you can't rely on it 100%. You don't know where the data is coming from, and we have caught ChatGPT, creating lies out of nothing. And that is really scary that, this tool is highly popular and widely used around the world, and yet we cannot rely on it fully to give us correct answers.
Thank you, Sam. Elsa.
Okay, I believe that we are just scared of AI. And as Angelique and Sam said, ChatGPT became the bad word in our lives. And just because we are scared of it, because we as humans do not like change, we do not want change in our lives. We just want to do the same old thing. We resist that by all cost until we can't do that anymore. If we are scared of ChatGPT, and as Sam have said, false things that's on the internet, we need to teach the students how to check if it's true. That's a basic research skill that they need to have. Where is the where's the truth in the internet and where's the bad things in the internet? And we can use AI for that because it can filter it. And you can still make a decision which one are you going to look at. This is a human thing. We want to feel like we're in charge, and at the moment we don't feel in charge because of ChatGPT. But AI is all around us. We know we have our GPS, we have our medical things on our cell phones, telling you how many steps you have walked. That's AI. And we need to understand that we can use AI for the good. We don't need to have it for the bad only. Yes, there's people that use it for bad things, but then there's also people who write programs to change that. So I believe that at the end of the day, AI is here to stay. And if we do not learn how to use it, it's going to overrun us, because our students is already much smarter than us. Something breaks in my life, I ask the children to fix it, because I can't.
Thank you, Elsa. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Angelika. Now, I understand that this must have been tough for you to take a stance on something that perhaps, like, it's scary. I mean, it's like, on a public forum to speak about something that you so strongly believe and speak against it. So I'm very grateful for you to have taken that step. Now, I have this one round where you can ask a question to your opponents in the debate. So one question each. So you get to ask Angelika. You can ask one question to Elsa and one question to Sam. Elsa can do the same to the other two of you, and Sam can do that to the other two of you out here. So there you go. So Angelika, if you have any question for Sam or Elsa, feel free to ask.
I do have for Elsa. Out of curiosity, because you're the practitioner, you're the teacher. I cannot say it about myself. I was, like, of course, working with teachers, and I have full respect towards you, but I am not the practitioner. As the teacher that is teaching, that has this experience, do you already see in your classroom with your students this change with AI every day when you have your lessons, when you have your lectures? Do you see the change, and what is this change?
Yes, I have seen this change, and in many ways, I encourage the change. My students do free search on the web, but they also do the alternative search. So they would look for something specific to the lesson, and then they will take that and put it back on the internet, and then just turn the question around. And then behind it, it will say truth. And then it will tell you, no, there is no blue snakes in Antarctica. It's too cold there. So, but this is a skill that I have to teach them. I have to teach them how to look for the truth on the internet, because it's on social media, it's on all these platforms that the child is exposed to on a daily basis. It's not only in school. I've also caught a little boy looking for on ChatGPT for his revision answers. And I said to him, biddy, 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 oh. We have to be careful, but we have to tell them why it is a problem. We cannot just say AI is bad. We need to explain it to them, and we need to tell them how to look for the truth behind that.
Thank you, Elsa. Angelika, any question to Sam? If not, then I yield the floor to Sam, and then he can ask, and then Elsa can go on.
Floor can go to Sam.
Okay.
Same type
Oh,
of question.
I'd like to ask Elsa, as a practitioner, I mean, how do you see AI replicating the empathy and personal connections that human teachers can provide?
In my honest opinion, it cannot. It would not. I do not see that AI will replace the teacher, will replace the education system. And the simple reason for that is we saw the devastation our children went through during the coronavirus, where they were isolated, the social problems that these students have gone through will be with them for the rest of their lives. And they understand that they need this connectivity. We do have a problem with children who is isolating themselves and constantly on a computer, constantly on a screen time, and playing these most horrible games. We do have a problem with that. But where it comes to replacing human interaction, I think we as humans learned the lesson very, very, very deeply during coronavirus. We need people around us. We cannot be isolated. We are just not made that way. So I do not see that the the social structure is going to change on a global space. We have to be careful with our children that is separating themselves into this dark space of only online work. And that is something we really need to be able to see from the parent side, the teacher side, and the community side. But I do not see that they will replace, AI will replace our teachers and our community, because we know we cannot survive alone.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Great
Elsa.
answer.
Elsa, you have two questions that you can use, one each to either of them.
Thank you so much. Sam, I would like to ask you, as an IT specialist, how can we, what is in place at the moment, and what do you see for the future to make sure, and I'm speaking as a teacher now for students, to make sure that we protect our students, not only their data, not only the ethical impact of the program bias on AI or any other program, but how do we protect our students? Is there something like that in your realm of experience?
Yeah, well, I'm a teacher as well, and I do teach AI for beginners to multi-ethnic children here in Hong Kong. I think the most important thing is to get the kids to understand how AI works, right? All the limitations that we discussed in this debate earlier, whether it's the bias, the inaccuracy of the data, the quality, just a lot of limitations about AI. So I think that helps the students understand that, well, one is actually a technology that's not perfect. Two, it's not too late for you to learn or for anybody to learn about AI. And three, when you have that self-awareness, you will be able to understand, what's real and what's not. It's a lot of the AI technologies that are being used for nefarious reasons to be creating deep fake videos of people doing things that they never did. And we're
Yes.
seeing a lot of that with teenagers. And I think with more education and awareness of the ability of AI to create these fake videos, news, etc., I think our students will be less gullible to seeing and believing things that they see online.
Yes.
And I would say the most important thing is it really depends on the age group. I believe AI tools, even currently, if you use ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot, it's actually not available to minors. I think you need to be of a certain age to be able to use that, and that's great. We need to keep it that way
Yes.
because unless we're sure that those students have been educated on how AI works and how it's created, then we just can't give it to kids, right? It's the equivalent of giving cigarettes and alcohol to underage minors because it is that powerful of a technology. And I'm speaking that on behalf of my son as well, because I see my son 10 years old and all these gaming companies, they make it highly addictive to the kids, to play and check in every day, get some new items. Yeah, we need to have regulation. I'm sorry to say this, I come from the industry, but we need to have regulation to protect our kids.
Thank
Angelique,
you, Sam.
I would like to ask you, because you're working with companies and technology, if you come to my school, because I would like to understand this, if you come to my school with a program, and please help me if I misunderstood, and you would like my school to use this program, what background securities is in these programs that would prompt my school to invest in those for the students?
Yeah. Thank you for that, Elsa. And I will maybe just correct the journey here. how the companies that are working with Tech to the Rescue, how they are developing these projects is not that they have the idea and they come to organization or the school or the change makers. That's not this way. That's why it's special. That's why we think it's working. It's the other way around. You as educators, activists, NGO, nonprofit, you have the idea, you have the needs, you have the scope, you have the data. You do not have the tech expertise, but you have all this context, and you come to us with this idea, and then we connect you with these tech experts that they can do the practical thing of the solution. So actually, it's not that they are giving you this project and they're like, hey, listen, we have amazing universal project, your school should use it, but everything comes from you. And the same comes for the security. You are the owner of this data because you are the expert in the field. So that's why these collaborations are working also for the activists, for educators, for nonprofits, because they make sure that the data is secure, the data comes from the experts. It's not some, data all over the internet, but they are the owners of it. So that's the magic here, I would say. That's really great way of building AI solutions. And of course, I'm doing this little marketing here, what Tech to the Rescue is doing, but that would be really ideal that the experts from the respective field, from education, health, climate, that they have something to say when these solutions are developed. That would be ideal, that you can do Tech to the Rescue. Hopefully the system will change that much, that it will be more and more possible to have both of sides being equal partners.
I
Thank you
think
so
that's
much.
amazing.
Thank you so much, Elsa, Angelika, Sam. Now we can take the sides off a bit and share, specifically, like those who were against the statement. I think, no, those who were for the statement. Gosh, Elsa, you never made me feel you were against the statement.
I'm just a good teacher.
So,
So can I speak my truth today?
of course you can, but I want to start with Angelika and Sam, uh, as you had to defend an indefensible position in some ways, if not all. So, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings about, being part of this debate, as well as, your own thoughts around this topic as you moved beyond? So if you can share your experience of having to prepare for this, as well as, to share your own thoughts around how you go about this topic. So yeah.
Sure, I'll go ahead and start.
Sure.
So I think, I'm a huge technologist. I believe in technology for good. But in researching the opposite position of what I had to say in this debate today, I think, yeah, there's a lot of truth in how technology in general could be overhyped. And it's all case specific, right? So it really depends on 3 or 4 factors: the people involved, the technology involved, the process to implement it, and the skill sets of the people involved. And those 4 factors would dictate whether any AI implementation or technology implementation anywhere in the world will be successful or not. And most of the times it is not successful because, one thing is not working. There's resistance from teachers, or there's resistance from management and the education institutions. So various reasons. Why ChatGPT is so popular is simply because anybody can pick it up and use it. But it's not the same as truly planning and implementing an AI education program in the school. That takes a lot of time, effort, and coordination. So in researching my position, I realized that, yeah, there's a lot of truth in it being overhyped at a institutional and enterprise level compared to the individual person picking up AI on their own.
Thank you so much, Sam, for sharing. Angelika.
Yeah,
Angelika, you can go ahead.
thank you. I can share with you that when preparing for this panel, when I realized I have to be for the statement, I did not actually have to create the fairy tale, because I shared with you concerns that we get from organizations that come to us. The questions about the security, the hallucinating, the data quality. Every day I'm talking with organizations who want to invest in AI solutions, but they have these questions. So all these challenges are there. Of course, what was the most helpful for me, we have amazing use cases that we overcame these challenges by connecting right partners, by preparing right data, by maintaining the solutions. So that was very helpful for me because I was giving all these challenges and all these question marks that come from change makers, and I knew already the solutions, but I had to pretend like, yeah, this can be crucial and this can make the big failure. So I think that was the hardest part. And yeah, definitely the hardest part was not nodding when Elsa was sharing her stories, because I was so much for what you were saying, but I had to pretend that no. Yeah, so I would just share this, that all these challenges, all this concerns that I brought to you, they are existing there, and it was not hard to find them. But on the same time, we have so many successful stories. And if you want to talk later about them, I would love to do it.
Thank you, Angelika. Really appreciate it. Elsa, how did you
Finally, I can
how
say
did you
my truth.
change? Yeah,
As a teacher, my biggest concern is it's about the constant use of artificial intelligence. It is the way in which a growing brain is working and how we are numbing this brain and stupefying this brain, because the child would ask AI for everything. And today in class, I spoke with my grade nines and I said to them, if you constantly going to use AI, because this one boy was on ChatGPT, and I said, if you're constantly going to use it, Alexa, am I pretty? Alexa, will I marry him? Alexa, should I wear this clothes? How does Alexa know? We give away a part of our being, our humanity, to a machine that has been pre programmed. And I cannot emphasize that enough. There is many programs. I had to defend something that is actually true. There's many programs that really help our children. There's English programs that help them to speak properly. There is programs that help them. But what we have to be considerate about is, if I write a program, I include my bias. If my bias is a certain way of thinking, I am now starting to indoctrinate this child. And that can never happen. We're not allowed to do that. That's unethical. So when we look at AI, and Angelique, as you said, you allow programs to be written for the client. So the client tells you, I need this, this, and this, and this, and I want to be the owner of the data. This is not what's happening in major companies. If we adopt a program into our school, this country have amazing laws. I come from the UAE, amazing laws about cybersecurity. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is the child's data. This is their future. We cannot allow people's personal bias to to basically drive this child in a direction where it's going to be harmful for the child. We have to be the gatekeepers. And as a gatekeeper, I have to think into the future. How is this going to help the child for the next generation? In my class, we use AI, we use computers, we use all of these things. Yes. But I make sure that the child also understand what is happening behind the screen, because there's a lot of things that can harm this child in years to come if we do not put a gatekeeper for the child.
sure. Thank you, Elsa. Thank you, Sam, Angelica. I think, like, when I engage in debates like these with amazing folks like you, I do feel that we need to do this a lot more, given the fact that, like, as professionals in our space, uh, we are engaged to dialogues a lot more than, like, critical discussions and argumentation, which might advance what we are doing. So I think, I mean, I'm deeply indebted to each one of you for having been here and being a sport. Thank you once again. And hopefully next year when we do the conference, I think we'll have a few debate clinics where we'll invite all of you. I think this would be a more fun experience. So thank you so much for taking the time out. Really, really appreciate it. If there are any audience questions we can take in, I think we have a couple of them, but we don't have as much time. I think we have less than 4 minutes. So I think we have one question here which can be taken. Is there any tip or advice to help convince other teachers to use AI for their own benefit?
Yes, if I can just come in there. Um, yes, I believe there is. But this is not something you can tell a teacher. You have to show a teacher. It's very easy for companies to come in and tell them, "Oh, you have to use this. This is so," but they don't show the teacher. We are willing to learn. Show us how it works. Don't tell us how it works. Show us what it does in front of us and in the background. Show us why we will use it, because it's very easy to sell programs to people, but the how to actually use it, that's where teachers miss it totally, and then we don't use it.
Okay, I want to come in here, and maybe I'll take. I think Sam has already shared in the chat. So those of you who have not checked it out, do check out. If somebody can relay that, that would be great. Just wanted to share this one thing with you. Like, I believe in the immense power of AI as a person who is involved in, like, a lot of academic stuff. As a teacher too, like, one of the things I feel is AI can be super powerful. In a simple way, our education systems don't prepare us to ask the right questions. Our education system, in many ways, prepares us to answer as opposed to ask questions. And I think our societies face a lot of challenges also because we don't ask the right questions. We ask questions, but not the right questions at the right time to the right people with the right intent. Right? So I think with technologies like AI, for example, our young people would be more prepared to ask the right kind of questions to get the answer out of ChatGPT or any other platform like Gemini or any of the other softwares that are out there. So I feel that as teachers, like, I see pedagogical approaches in Sweden, in Germany, and elsewhere, and I see teachers are using them very innovatively. They're not using the way we want them or we expect them to use. So I see teachers using AI very differently. They ask, they integrate AI as part of the inquiry, of the philosophical debate that they would have in the class. Okay, what do you think? What does AI say? Do you agree? Why do you agree? Or why you don't agree with what AI says, right? Or to give them questions in a certain way where AI is not as helpful, but could be a tool in terms of having discussion. So I think they're varied approaches as opposed to just looking at, okay, should we take this technology in? The question should be, okay, what is the problem that this technology will be able to solve for me or my classroom or for my children or students? So I think asking those critical questions, figuring that out, perhaps can enable us to utilize these technologies to the fullest potential. So with that, I think Angelika and Sam, if you want to add something, please go ahead and add, and then we'll wrap it up. Right? So we're almost there.
Oh, I think it was a wonderful discussion. I think first of all, thank you so much, Elsa, Angelika, and Aaryan for hosting us. I think it has, opened up new ideas for me to think about some things about AI in education, both for and against. I think last but not least, I hope that everyone understand that this is a process, right? Nothing is perfect, so there's going to be a lot of trial and error. And yeah, as long as we believe in technology being used for the greater good, then we will be able to persevere one day while keeping the things that are most important to us intact, like human relationships.
Thank you so much, Sam.
I would just add my thank you that I could be here. And as I don't believe that technology is the answer for everything, I do believe the dialogue is. And I'm really appreciating the dialogue we could have today. I hope it will continue. And I appreciate the dialogue that can happen between the technology, the educators, and the respective field activists, so we can connect these efforts and build real change through technology, but in a dialogue. So thank you so much that I could be a part of this one today.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So I think that's it for today. From this session, I hope you enjoy the rest of the day with the other sessions that are that are going on. And I hope to see you in the other sessions. And thank you once again, Elsa, Angelika, and Sam. It was lovely.
Thank you for the opportunity. This was really good. Sam, Angelique, it was wonderful meeting you.
Yes.
Same
Nice to meet
here.
you
Thank
all.
you so much.
Thank you so much.